This is Arukh HaShulchan Yardeh Siman Lamates Sif Chav Gimel to Chav Daled. This is Supplemental Day 263 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi series. So the question which we're dealing with, the question which we raised, is if all sirchos come as a result of holes, why do we now find so many holes in the animals? Certainly they should have the animal in all sorts of stages of the development of a sircha, and there should be lots of sirchas, should be lots of holes, and yet we don't find that many holes in a lung. So the Arukh says, Chav Gimel, Shuva Sheila Zuka Kenu. This is the answer to this question. The Vadim Komash Anorim Komash Anorim Sirchos Bevhema Yu Sirchos Vadois. If all the adhesions we saw in the lung were definite adhesions, let's just say this would be a great question. So why do we not find more of the why do we not find more holes? But the truth is, there will be no response. However, the truth is that many of these sirchas are not really sirchas. Those are just mucus, not adhesion. And those which seem to us like they are the third membrane. Like the story of rhinos, where we had earlier in similar Meisif Mem. Those which come just from the upper high. But there's a membrane which is called the tailor. Smog brings it down. Which is not a adhesion. And there are adhesions which are fresh when you suck it, and they can be snapped. Just if you lift up your hand. And there's sirchos which can be removed by giving the animal to drink some of the shechita just before you shech it. Come for sifyud base, like it says in the Shulchan sifyud base. It's known that these sirchos, which are fresh, if they're not removed, and then they come out into contact with the air of the world. In other words, when chest cavity is open, they become stronger. They solidify. The should look like true adhesions. Also, any adhesion which is not on the lung on both its ends. But rather the second end adheres to the rib cage, and the chest, and the fat of the heart, and other places. Even their true sirchos, they're not definitely adhesions from the lung. Perhaps from another organ, and they can adhere to the lung. It's true, we assume that it's more likely to have come from the lung, because it is prevalent that the lung generates sirchos. We shall see in Sif Ayin Tes. Nevertheless, it's not definite, it's only a question. And we, whatever we see, we don't have the expertise to distinguish between a definite sircha, one which is not definite, or which is not a sircha at all. Most of the animals have sirchas because we don't differentiate what's a true sircha and what's not a true sircha. There was a true sircha, which come out as a result of a hole. They are mortem. They're a very small number. And of these true sirchos, a majority of this minority, right? The minority are true sirchos. Of the majority of this minority of true sirchos, there the adhesion mounts a hole. I should put it like this way. In most of those cases, there's a sircha which blocks the hole. Even there was a hole, the sircha very quickly blocks it. A hole without adhesion, have a muta, it's an extraordinary minority. Therefore, it's not prevalent by us. Because according to this, all of our sirchas, only a questionable treifa. because we don't differentiate between true sirchos and not true sirchos. Is ikar eter shamiach b'sirchos. This is the primary reason why manipulating and crushing the sirchos applies. They should put it saying the sircha gemura because it's clear to us that a true sircha, los of the milch is not going to pass if you crush it, which is what we have to show, as we shall see in Kufav. That's what we see with our own senses, that most sirchos pass through by this manipulating, this crushing, is crushing, which is manipulating, or by peeling, which is the custom of us. So it comes out clarified, the most of them are not actual sirchos. And they're really all Savik sirchos. And Rav says that this claim comes from Shulchan Siman Pei Aleph Si Beis Tur Sham. As far like this is in the Shulchan Aruch. Chavdav Shitas Rabbi say Bali Tesis Kain He. The Kainu. This is the sheet of the Bali Tesis is as follows: Yesh Shecha Below Nekev. There is a adhesion without a hole. But time is an issue Shehi Shalokus Hitron, and the reason that why there's an issue where the adhesion goes from one lobe to a non-adjacent lobe. It's because softly spark is because eventually it'll snap from the unlucky or and it will puncture the hide of the lung. But chashik it's considered to be as if already puncture came to softly spark. It's eventually it's going to snap apart. Anything which is going to take that hole is as if it has a hole. Avukshuk is a children. But that's from Ron and Tafidalf. But when it's in order, Munachas Yafeh, and it's lying properly, it's not going to eventually snap. Therefore, when it's order on the order of the lobes, it's kosher. Shlokas is not in the order of the lobes. Treifa, it's treifa. As far as difficult to understand, it's not the Ma'alanu im sofali now came. What difference does it make that it's eventually going to get a hole? Came when Sha'ato Einam Minukuva, since now it doesn't have a hole. Now Rishon explained that Dachibush, this is what we say. The came to sofali no cave, since it's likely to get a hole. It's possible the hole is really there. Especially spark the fact that it has not yet broken apart. The because maybe began breaking apart, and it became a hole. The chazan nistam, and then it became closed off again. But that's a scab which came out as a result of wounds. It's not a valid scab. From the language of Rishayim, it seems a little bit that feeling even if it's clear to us that it hasn't yet snapped. It's part treifa. It's still treif. The time just over this way because eventually it is going to snap. So why is that? So says the HaShulchan, he says that's not going to survive 12 months. It can't survive. I'm talking about it's difficult to say that because the actual situation, which is the coil, which makes it into a treif, so again, it's difficult to say. And the actual syndrome which is going to kill it has not yet started. Because now it's intact. Also, how do we know that it didn't yet start breaking apart? Maybe it did start breaking apart. But it got a hole, no hole became started up. Therefore, he says it must be that yes, it is. Even though we don't see the hole, it may well be that there is a hole. So the spark means we don't know when. Maybe that's actually there already in the krum, which we see is the krum machmas maka. Okay, those who are going to disagree with that, which is going to deal with in the following sefer. That's it for today.